John, thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, brother. Thanks for having me.
So let's dive into this because we have two films to talk about. Let's talk about Ketchup first. Ketchup or Waffles.
Yeah.
Where in the fuck did you get the idea for this movie from, man? Because this is just an in-your-face film.
Well, I kind of got it from a lot of like real world events and kind of how the world has like progressed and unfolded over the years from like, toxic social media personalities to, mass casualty events. And I kind of wanted to express just the dangers of like, you know, the youth being influenced over the years by whether it is toxic, social media personalities, um, movies or whatever. And I think like I think that's where it really comes from is just misguided youth and seeing the rise of misguided youth and seeing how our youth has been acting over the past like 30 years and like how we have gotten so much more angsty. I made this movie when I was 23, so it was just kind of like seeing the world around me, as like somebody who's like, young and seeing how friends, seeing how like classmates interact with different people, and kind of correlating that with a lot of mass casualty events. Like you could look at like certain events, and you'll see that like the culprit is somebody who is a misguided youth.
Yeah.
So it's really that where it comes from. Um, but I see people online always like be like, oh, this reminds me of this event, this reminds me of this event, or this or that. It's not really about a specific event or anything like that. I mean, it also comes from like from a lot of movies that I've watched growing up, a lot of like French extremity films, a lot
Yes.
of those like 90s independent films like Elephant, like the Gus Van Sant movies, the Gaspar Noé movies, the Larry Clark films, the Harmony Korine films. Yeah. So I mean it's such a broad kind of answer, but to give it to you all at once, that's really where it all comes from.
As soon as you said elephant, how I remember seeing that for the first time and how shocking and controversial that was.
Yeah.
And a part of that, like part of your film, I saw
Mhm.
part of that film because of just how it was shot and whatnot. Do you
Yeah.
remember the first time you seen these films and you were like, "All right, I gotta make one of these"?
Um I don't know if it was so much like, all right, I got to make one of these. I mean, I think it was just like the films that like really like affected me. Like, I remember watching Larry Clark and Harmony Korine's Kids for the first time and being like really disturbed by it and like hit by that. And like the same way with Elephant and the film like Bully, I was just really shocked by that and really moved by that. Like, and those are films about misguided youth.
Yeah.
And I watched those movies when I was in high school. Like most of my friends and people that I would talk to in high school weren't watching those kinds of films either. They were watching like, more mainstream kind of films that were coming out at the time. And like I don't think there is really a pull to those movies anymore. And so I feel like Ketchup was kind of like me kind of trying to pull Gen Z and like, a younger crowd to that
Oh yeah.
in a very approachable kind of way. Like I'm not trying to like really be the next Dare to Watch movie. I think it's like I think Ketchup is like the more approachable kind of extreme film, type of extreme film.
Oh yeah. And I
Yeah.
went into that movie extremely blind. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't watch anything. I just saw people talking about it
Yeah.
and I just went in totally blind. And I think that's what some people should do to your films because
Yeah.
I feel like some trailers and some like teasers that are posted online, I think take away from the movie experience. But
100%.
your movie just grabbed me by the throat and was like, "You're just gonna sit right here and watch this."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like you gotta the best way to go into to catch up is to go in blind. I think a lot of people expected, something really disturbing and something really graphic and in your face. It wasn't ever really supposed to be that,
Yeah,
wasn't supposed to be, like I said, the next Dare to Watch movie. I mean, it's extreme, it's very extreme, and it's very disturbing. But I wanted to make something that was more approachable because, if I was trying to be something that was like extremely disturbing, then you couldn't like extremely disturbing in the sense of like being like overly graphic or overly
yeah,
gore, then, it would turn away a lot of people. And so if you kind of go into this movie and you watch this movie with that mindset, you're gonna be more disturbed, but you're also gonna, be able to hear the message of the film.
oh yeah,
Um, yeah, and I also want you to kind of, there's a lot that I'm not really getting into specifics of like the little details of things, but like, I definitely encourage you to have your own interpretation of those certain things.
oh yeah. Don't yeah. You have
Yeah,
to form your own opinion.
yeah, you
Like,
really, yeah.
just don't see it online and be like, you know what? I agree with this.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like that's the thing that was really important to me was like not to glorify these villains in any way, you know?
Yeah,
Like I get asked all the time, like I have trouble like, for the longest time, like where people are like, I want t-shirts and stuff like that. Like when I was telling the distributors about this film, um when I was telling the Cranked Up guys about Ketchup and everything like that, when they first like, when we first started having our discussions, I was like, listen, these characters, they're not Spirit Halloween costumes and they shouldn't be. These are terrible, terrible
human
characters.
beings.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like they are like cesspit people. Um and they're gross. They're really like gross and they're homophobic. They're murderers. They're horribly misogynistic. And they they say just the most vile shit, and they're so manic in the moment that they're just going to say whatever is on the tip of their tongue. And half the time they're saying shit that doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. As
Yeah.
and that's part of the off the cuff part of the characters. They were just saying some wild ass shit.
Because the adrenaline is rushing, and that's something where I was like, okay, let's encourage improv here, because I want you guys to just say whatever comes to mind, and I want you guys to say the most vile shit because I want you to kind of be in this moment of just like having this adrenaline and these characters, their hearts are fucking racing
Oh
in
yeah.
this moment. So they're gonna just say whatever, even if it's just fucking mumbo jumbo,
As long as it gets the point across, it doesn't matter at this point.
Exactly. Yep, yep, yep.
So my next question is the casting for this film.
Hmm.
Like, who are these people and how did you get them to be so over the top? Because part of your character development for me is what made the film better for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was such like a mix. It really was such a mix. Like with Ian, who plays the White, of course. I met him at a film festival, and he wanted to do a horror movie. I had a horror film at this film festival, and it was winning these awards. And he approached me at the end. He's like, "Dude, I really want to make like a horror movie. I want to be in a horror movie. Um, like, what what do I have to do to work with you or whatever?" And I was like, listen, I'm writing something, and this was like years prior to the fact. I was like 20, 21 maybe, and I was like, listen, I'm writing something at the time. I'm trying to form this idea. Um, and he was like, okay, great. And so he ended up hitting me up once I said that I was like casting for Ketchup and Waffles, and he did an audition. His audition was great. It was scary, but I couldn't really come to the conclusion where I'm like, okay, I want Ian to play this character. And Ian was so committed that just out of nowhere, like a week after he had his audition, he sent me a short film that he made on his own as the White, and it's him cooking like a meal. And at the end, he's cooking a meal as the White, and this is what the audition was. I really hope that it could see the light of day. I really do. Um, and at the end of this little short film that he did, he has a whole thing of marinara sauce, and he chugs the marinara sauce like completely. So he was nuts. Like I was like, okay, this is
You're
this is
hired.
yeah. I was like, you're hired. This is so beyond what anybody else was doing for their auditions. Um, and so, he was just so in for it. Like, he was so committed. He had his own journal as the character. There was like months where I'm like, okay, am I talking to Ian or am I talking to the White? Like, and that's how crazy it was. And, as pretentious as this sounds, it really was crazy. Like, there was there was a good time where I would be with Ian, I would be hanging out with Ian, and I would just see something in his eyes, and I'm like, I don't think I'm talking to Ian right now, And like I'm really not trying to be pretentious or anything. Like that was really the case. That was like genuinely the case. Um as for like Max and Hector, who Max plays the Red and Hector plays Ryan, that was Abby's boyfriend in the film. I met them off of Backstage, which was like a casting network, and they auditioned and everything like that. Um, Rob Rappa, who plays the Blue, he auditioned with me. At like we met up at person. I knew him from high school. So when I posted that, I was like, okay, like I need actors for Ketchup on Waffles. Like I'm looking for, anybody who wants to audition. And I was open to like literally anybody auditioning. And so Rob, I knew Rob in high school. Him and I would get in a lot of trouble in high school. We would get kicked out of class a lot, and he was that type of crazy. He was that type of crazy. So I was like, all right, let's have this guy audition. Haven't spoken to him in some time up until that audition, and so at that point he was just everything I needed. Like I knew that was he was the Blue right from the audition. And, I was just like, all right, this is the guy, like,
And
I
he
was like,
kills it too.
yeah, he's so great. He's never acted before, you know?
What?
Yeah, he's never acted before. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
nuts.
In high school we would make like movies in the woods or some shit, but like that was it. Like, like never acted in like a real kind of film before.
Well, he
And
needs to audition for more though, because he has it.
yeah, yeah, Rob is great. He's so naturally funny. I was like, Rob, like honestly, just pretend we're like in the classroom again. Pretend we're in our computer class, just like fucking around again. And like, obviously to a more evil extent, but like that's literally what the case was. Yeah, and Max was great. Zarissa, I was friends with Zarissa for some time before we filmed Ketchup, and so she auditioned. She was an actress. She acted in a few things. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, like, this was their first movie. Like Hector, who played Ryan, it was his first movie. Max, who plays the Red, it was his first movie. You know,
Jeez.
uh, yeah, a lot of these guys were like really beginner level like actors, and didn't even go to school yet for acting. So
Jeez.
yeah, yeah, it's great. It's really
That
wild.
that is wild. Now I want to go back and watch it again because that is absolutely wild. And everybody just seemed like they were naturally just talented actors.
Yeah, yeah. I think encouraging improv help because like a lot of like beginner actors, they have they struggle with remembering their lines and stuff like that, and like if you never acted before, you're gonna have that issue. And so I'm like, you know what, just kind of look at the script as like a guideline and just make sure you get from point A to point B.
Oh yeah.
um, and just have fun with it, just let loose. and they really fucking let loose, you know? Yeah.
That is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
So where did Ketchup and Waffles take place? Because you had to rent their actual place, didn't you? To
Yeah,
actually film part of it.
yeah. So it was filmed around my hometown pretty much. Most of it was filmed around my hometown. The diner, I was going to 1,000 different diners. Like I mean, I was calling up 1,000 different diners. Um, and none of which none of which were letting me,
And
give me a shot.
enthused to have you shoot your film there.
Yeah, none of them. And so this childhood diner that I've been going to for years and years, I just went to them, and it's just such an ideal layout, that diner. Like it feels like a stage pretty much. It's not like a back and forth kind of diner. It's just everything is right there. It's a smaller diner. It's just one big room. It's claustrophobic. And so I I asked the diner owner, and I was like, "Listen, like I think my movie could be great here. It would be like 4 to 5 straight nights." And it's an active diner, so we would get there at 11. Yeah, we would get there at 11 at night, start shooting at 11:30, and then we would have to finish at 5 and have everything cleaned up, get the blood off the walls by 5:30. Um because we had to, they had to open up at 6 o'clock,
That's
and let
wild.
customers in. Yeah, so we did that for like 5 straight nights. And so I went to the diner owner and I was like, listen, like I have this plan, like, we'll shoot it for 4 to 5 straight nights. And at first he was like, okay, like I don't know if this is, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could bring this energy into this diner. This is my diner. Um, it's a family owned diner. And so I was like, listen, it's not too violent. He goes, because I know, he also said, he's like, I know your stuff is violent. And I was like, it's not that bad. I was like,
Hey,
don't
I'm
worry.
just judging you right off the clip though.
And rightfully so, rightfully so, in my opinion. Um, and I was like, yeah, like it's not that violent, it's not too bad. I wouldn't worry about that. Um, of course, after the second night, he's there. He's right there, and he goes, "Oh, so I heard you lost your dick last night." And I was like, "Yeah, man. Yeah, sorry. Spoiler alert." Um, but, but yeah, man, sorry. And he was fine. He was cool. There was one point where we got blood on the ceiling tiles, and we he had to hire somebody. I had to pay somebody that he hired to kind of babysit us and make sure that the diner isn't completely trashed.
Yeah.
And there was blood got on the ceiling tiles at one point, and you know I I I was like, "Oh shit." So I grabbed a mop and I told the guy who was babysitting us. I was like, he was babysitting us essentially. I was like "Listen, I can't get this out. Like I'm damping the ceiling tiles. The blood's not coming out." I'm like, "Fuck." And the guy who was babysitting us, he's like, "Oh, don't worry. Like, I don't think anybody will see it." I was like, "All they have to fucking do is look up.
Look up.
Yeah, blood on the ceiling tiles." And he's like, "Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. Trust me." He's like, "Jerry might not even see it." And I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know. He's gonna fucking see that." The next night I go in there and
You just see him pointing up at the.
pretty much. So I walk in there and Gary's like, "Oh, I saw what happened to the ceiling tiles. I saw the ceiling tiles." I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. You saw that?" And he goes, "Yeah, dude." He goes, "You were right in front of the security camera, damping the ceiling tile with the mop." But he was cool. He was completely cool about it because he had an extra ceiling tile in the back.
So he just
Um,
popped that out and just popped it back in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He just, I thankfully he just had an extra ceiling tile in the back because it was blood splattered across the ceiling tile. Like some couples eating a burger or whatnot, and they
It
look
just
up.
drips.
Yeah, yeah, it's still dripping from the night before. Um,
What happened
yeah,
here?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm really grateful for that diner and everything like that. It's literally right in my hometown. It's a great diner. And it's just, it's great. I still go there. Like, if whenever I'm in my hometown, I still go there to that diner. And yeah, like it's great.
Just give out the name so we can just visit. No, no, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, sure. Good. It's the Sunrise Diner in Wantagh. Go take a visit. Yeah, they would love the business.
Our
Yeah.
plaque is on the wall, the ceiling tiles on the wall, and everything. It's just fine.
Yeah, it's a bunch of ketchup merch everywhere.
It's it's just a ceiling tile, just in like a plexiglass
Yeah,
case.
yeah, they got like shadow boxed masks. So,
It's a
yeah.
museum because of y'all now.
Essentially, it's a Planet Hollywood now.
Oh, rest in peace, Planet Hollywood.
I think it's still up. I think I was going through Times Square the other night. I thought I saw it. Maybe not.
I haven't
Um,
seen one of those in like at least a decade.
I think maybe the one in downtown Disney closed in Orlando.
I think
I
it
don't know.
did.
Yeah, all right, that sucks. Yeah, whatever, bummer.
Oh, now you just took down the whole podcast. Great. No, I'm kidding. So let's get into the punishment tapes because I was already like on a high from your first film and then saw that you put out like another one. It just feels like my algorithm is just all of your stuff right now because everybody's talking about your stuff.
Ah,
So
thank,
I just went into the punishment tapes like right afterwards, and dude, you fucking nailed it again right after, man. Like,
thank you.
what is this journey for you? Because you're just hitting home run after home run after home run, man.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I don't really see it too much as a journey. I just see it as a day at a time. Journey's a scary word, but yeah, no, it's great. It was really surprising to me. Cranked up. I put out Ketchup, and Ketchup was doing really well, and Ketchup has been doing really well. And this was like 2 months ago that Ketchup released, 2 or 3 months ago at this point. And they were like, let's just drop punishment tapes in June. I was like, what? I was like, you don't want to wait till later on in the year? I was like, you want to drop punishment tapes right now? And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We want
Right.
to we wanna drop it as soon as we can. It's
They
a
were riding that high too. They were like, okay, let's just keep this train going.
I was like, shit, all right, man. So yeah, they set it for June 30th, and then like the weekend before June 30th, they're like, let's just drop it Friday. We want to get that weekend rush. And apparently, they did that weekend rush, and it did really well on their streaming service. It tore up the numbers on their streaming service, as I understand. And all these influencers did like a big boom that Friday, and they're like, punishment tapes is now available. And then it's there. I was like, it put a lot of pressure on me because I'm like, fuck, I gotta get to whatever I gotta do next. I gotta keep to riding the high. I'm like, I go back to my team. I'm like, all right, what can we do? Just throw ideas at me, pitch me some ideas. What's our next film?
Because it has to be like a sense of urgency for them just to drop that because you were going to ride catch up until like what, end of the year and then drop that again. And then it'll probably give you time for you to plan out your next project.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of wanted to sleep a little bit, but I don't think that's a possibility. Um,
Nope.
but yeah, man, like that's what I was kind of thinking. I was kind of thinking this was the year of Ketchup, or at least just drop punishment tapes in the fall or something. But no, I'm happy it dropped as soon as possible, and my cast, Danny, who did the makeup on punishment tapes and co-produced punishment tapes, she was really happy. um Yeah, we were all really happy, which was something also that was really interesting. There was 2 tracks in Punishment tapes that were from another movie, and yeah, and so I was trying to get the rights to those 2 tracks. It was from, the film Cannibal Holocaust.
That okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
yep.
I was trying to get, these 2 tracks from Cannibal Holocaust. I it was like I don't usually write music into my scripts, but I legit wrote these tracks into my scripts because they work so well. And it was at the finale, there was one at the finale, and there was one during the hammer fight. And, when they told me they wanted to drop it in June, I still didn't get the rights yet, so I'm, like, scrambling, and then at, like, a week before, release, I wasn't hearing, anything back because these guys are, like, in Italy, the rights holders are in
Oh
Italy,
yeah.
and, the original composer, like, passed away, and so I was talking to his son, and, like, I just couldn't get it. Like, I couldn't get the rights, and, like, they seemed like great people, but I couldn't get it in at at the right time, and so I was really disappointed by that. So at last second, I did the whole score by myself, and then I just I just fucking did, like, 2 tracks, like, a week before the film released. Yeah.
Oh, because I was gonna ask you about that music because your music had snuff film all over it. The music,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of times where I get a movie that has a good soundtrack, but
Mhm.
your movie had a like 100% across the board for me. Music, casting, environment, everything checked the boxes for me.
Yeah.
Like, is it pop? Are you ever going to release a soundtrack to the actual Punishment tapes? Because I have to have the soundtrack.
It's out now. You could stream it now on Apple Music, Spotify.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah, it's out now. That final track in the Punishment tapes, the one during the big finale, that was the one that I did like a week before the
that
film.
is
Yeah,
that is the best track.
yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking love that song.
yeah. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's called A Preacher with a Camera. Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
exactly. That's all
Yep.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. It's definitely bleak. It's eerie. I was with my friends, and I was kind of running it by them, and they were like, "Oh, this shit scares the fuck out of me. Turn this shit off." We were all smoking a little doobies, and it was just throwing off the vibe terribly. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was great. I'm really proud of the soundtrack. The ambiance of the film was very important to me, like that tone, that just like bleak, dark.
It had that Terrifier feel.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's dark. It's a dark film. I was very much like inspired by a lot of David Fincher's work and films like exploitation Italian horror films like
What?
Cannibal Holocaust and
Oh yeah,
Giallo films, and of course Lucio Fulci's work. I'm a big Lucio Fulci fan, so he actually got a special thanks in the credits.
same.
Yeah.
There, a lot of horror would not exist without that man.
Yep, yep, yep. And it was important to me. I was telling Danny, I was like, I want the effects to look like their effects from like a Fulci film. I wanted to look like that level of like absurdity and kind of like I want that red to really pop. I want like the blood of like the 70s and in those films they really pop,
The
and that was
dark reds.
yeah, yeah. The dark reds and the really bright reds too. A lot of times, like the blood that I really love the blood of the original Dawn of the Dead. And so like I was like, Danny, look at the blood at the in Dawn of the Dead. Like I want kind of in the finale the blood to kind of really look like that on this character's face. So yeah, that
Yes.
was that was also really important to me. Was all the effects, and Danny killed it in my opinion. I think Danny did really really great with
Oh,
those effects.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the gore at the end is probably what got me the most because I wasn't really expecting that
Mhm.
in depth of gore. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you fucking did it.
Yeah, it's pretty depraved. The ending is really depraved. Um, really deranged kind of, brutality. Then, that's really what I think um makes the movie is that like final 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what probably stuck with me the most is that final 5 minutes, and then it ends, and then you go, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like a brutal cliffhanger, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I That's the thing, like it's presented in a cliffhanger, but like in my opinion, I don't really kind of see it as a cliffhanger so much. I think that's the ending. That's it, that's where the story ends. And maybe it's just up to interpretation. And I think with Ketchup that's the case too. And I see a lot of people always bothered by that, by the ending of Ketchup and Punishment Tapes. And like, to me, I feel like that hits harder. Like, I love when like the audience could come up with their own kind of theories, and
Yeah,
like my favorite kind of movies is like, leaving the theater and on the ride home kind of guessing where to, like, where those characters go next, like, and
yeah.
kind of theorizing. Yeah, because it generates conversation too.
Oh, obvious. Oh, yeah. Like
Hmm.
the ending had me talking for like a good week.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
is she dead?
yeah.
Is she missing? Where do we go from here?
Who knows?
All right, so let's talk about how Punishment Tapes opens because I have a valid question here. Is how Punishment Tapes open a conversation you have had with an outside company before? Because
Yes.
it,
So so I'll say this. Of course, Million's response and how he took the kind of conversation never happened. I promise you, I never lashed out in a producer meeting like that. But a lot of what those producers were saying to Million, um, is what I heard producers saying to me, um, about Ketchup. You know,
okay, that makes sense.
Contributors, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they would say it's too nihilistic, you know, there's not enough meat on the bones, and like I would be like, that's the point, but whatever. And so that's really where this film comes from. It comes from me struggling to get distribution for Ketchup and me feeling like I was going fucking insane. When we started filming Punishment Tapes. That's when I first started having the conversations with Cranked Up, for Ketchup, because Ketchup was done for like 2 years. Ketchup was finished in 2023, and it was just like years of not getting distribution because people didn't want to touch it because of subject matter, or it being too nihilistic. But the films that influence Ketchup, they're nihilistic as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Like Clockwork Orange, all these Gaspar Noé movies. Um, but you know, like, that's really where Punishment Tapes comes from, is like kind of just the maddening experience of being an independent filmmaker, and him being he Million being a failed independent filmmaker, and he has this other aspect in his life that he discovers. He kind of brings those worlds together and becomes a snuff filmmaker.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna kind of give give anything away here, but that's like the story behind the story, because I see a lot of people online kind of misinterpret Million's journey. Million wasn't at that point in that producer meeting. Million wasn't a snuff filmmaker at that point.
No.
He was just a regular independent filmmaker, and then he discovers something that's really close to him, and what is really close to him kind of proposes something to him, and then a world's combined,
Yep.
like that, and that's where it goes from there. Yeah, and that's kind of the story behind the story. But yeah, I mean, that's to give you kind of like that answer. It's just being an independent filmmaker, especially today. It's so maddening, you know, like it's so stressful, and you really like feel like okay, like this is it, like I give up, like, you know, like you there are days where you feel completely hopeless, and you know, of course, Million at that point he was fucking crazy by then, but he went completely hopeless, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're making a type of film like this,
Mhm.
what has been some of the backlash you have seen online, or some of the negative comments you have seen online? Because they can't be all positive when you make a film like this with a subject matter like this.
Yeah, you know, I see it pretty much all. Like I see it all. Like it's down to, you know, I have a very raw and kind of grittier style, and it's, you know, my films don't really look a whole lot like a lot of films that are released nowadays, you know? Like they're not clean films. They're dirty, dirty films.
I love that though. Like
Yeah,
I wish more films took after you,
yeah.
because I think a lot of people now didn't have a chance to experience these type of films, and we need more filmmakers like you to give us this,
Oh,
because
thanks.
I think a lot of people are missing out on this type of film.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You know, I'm really channeling, you know, my favorite decade of cinema is the 70s, and just there is such like a dirty, gritty, you know, kind of aspect to a lot of those independent films of the 70s, and you know, to kind of translate that into my own work is really important to me. And you know, I love grindhouse cinema, and grindhouse kind of isn't around anymore, you know,
Yeah.
like there isn't like really good grindhouse films anymore, and they don't feel the same because a lot of them are like shot digital, and they kind of like lose that look, and like they come off as very clean. And so I shoot digital, but I make my stuff look as dirty, as flawed as I possibly can.
Yes.
And yeah, like because it just feels like it fits the story as greatly as possible. um but yeah, like, you know, I see like negative feedback online, and I love it, like, you know,
Do you just
my,
do
yeah.
you just sit back and just laugh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love all of it. You know, I don't make my movies to be, you know, generally like loved or generally hated, like in that aspect, but like I make my films to generate conversation, and I know going into my stories that they're going to be polarizing, and they're gonna probably piss a lot of people off, and that's fine with me. You know, I like polarizing stuff. You know, I like films that generate conversation, and I also want to make the art that I want to make. You know, I don't like playing safe. I don't give a fuck, you know, about what people say about my films, or anything, in the sense if they hate it or hate me. Like I love it. Like, you know, I love all of it. You know, I'm huge on Letterbox. I love Letterbox, and I'll go through reviews, and I love reading reviews. Like, you know, I love reading people's reviews, and I encourage people to leave reviews on Letterbox or wherever they can leave reviews, because it's great. It's a lot of fun to read that stuff.
Because I'm gonna watch it again tonight, and I already have a letterbox review pinned up for you. So
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
stay. I I'm just gonna tell you because it's gonna make you laugh, because punishment tapes made me go run and take a shower. That's
Yeah.
all I'm going to leave it, because that is the best way to describe it.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, that makes me so happy. You know, I feel like if you feel this kind of sense of like you need to shake something off after, or you know, wash something off after punishment takes, that's perfect. That's really what I want. Yeah.
Well, that's what you don't get, because I
Yeah.
have one more person to show your film to, and because it is a fucking masterpiece, bro, and
Oh, thanks,
and you
man.
should be extremely proud of what you've done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I'll be on the lookout for your letterbox review.
Where can people follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram at John Theissen Jr. You know, you could follow my film company, Young Fisherman Films, on Instagram as well. We're also on YouTube. You know, I'm on I'm on Twitter. I think I'm on Twitter.
I think.
Yeah, no, I'm on Twitter. Anywhere, any social media, you could follow me, John Theissen Jr. or my composer name, Coyote Nighttime. Yeah, just that wherever. I'm not good at plugging myself for social media. I'm clearly not an influencer.
Fine.
Yeah.
Both of your films are still streaming on Cranked Up as of right now.
Yep, yep, yep. Ketchup is on Tubi. You can rent or buy on Amazon Prime. I will say this, might get in trouble, but we are working on physical media, so stay tuned for that if you are looking for that. Don't worry, I'm good. um,
I
but yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. Um, and then Punishment Tapes is on Cranked Up TV right now. It's streaming on Cranked Up TV.
and don't forget the merch. Plug the merch.
Oh yeah, and you could buy merch on TeePublic. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. Because
Yeah.
as soon as we're done, I am going to get one.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's so great. Yeah.
John, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me, Justin. It was a blast. It was great talking to you, brother.